This is how this podcast is. This path isn't for everyone. This is inspired by something that my friend Tim and I often say to each other when we come in and work out, especially as we gotten older. We're both in our 50s. And my friend Matt is also part of this. And we don't miss workouts. Like we don't miss workouts. We are very conscious of what we eat. Sleep is really important. And people will tell us that we're very positive. And we're just really interested in doing things that are going to help us be at our best, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that looks different, but there are a few things that we have in common, and quite a few things. And one of the things is what we choose to listen to and read. Another thing is the people that we choose to spend most of our time with. We can spend our time with everybody, but the people that we find ourselves spending more of our time with are people that are really positive and uh and really just trying to be a contribution in the world with how they show up. And we share a real commitment to physical well-being and health. And just sprinkling kindness everywhere we go. That's our thing. And so oftentimes when we travel, we'll work out or we'll eat a certain way and we notice people do something different. They may not work out, or they will have a reason why they can't work out, or they won't eat in a way that is supportive of what their health goals are. And we'll just say, hey, not everybody's about that life. And so that just is similar to the path isn't for everyone. And what I mean by that is that to be on the path of working on yourself, of not making excuses for not working on yourself, for using everything, every opportunity that is in front of you as purposeful to work on yourself. It's not something that everybody does. It doesn't make you special because you do it, but it makes you committed for makes you someone who's committed since you do that. It's unconditional. Unconditional. People often marvel at how I will go in somewhere and eat because, I have a pretty healthy diet. And people will marvel at that I can go anywhere. And if they don't have something that is supportive of what I think is in the best interest of my nutrition, of my eating, that I can sit there, have a good time, and not eat completely because that's not the path that I'm on. I'm on a path that is all about health. And if I'm not going to starve to death and I can go a few hours without putting something in my body that is not going to be consistent with me having optimal health, then I can certainly do that. And so that's the path that I'm on physically. Same thing goes with my commitment to sleep and other things. Uh, what's even more important to me is a part of working on myself in a way that helps me move further and further from Keith 1.0 to Keith 2.0. 1.0 complains about everything, judges every situation, can't handle it when things don't meet his expectation, blames other people. It's pretty much like a 5-year-old when they don't get their way. Keith 2.0 is able to accept the present moment exactly as it is and not demand to be something different. For a lot of years, I didn't do that. But now that I do, because I'm on a different path, this is the path that is for me. And most recently, we had an election here in the United States, and there are a lot of people that are really upset about it. And 4 years ago, people were upset about how that election turned out. And I was grateful not to be one of those people that was upset over the outcome. And the reason I wasn't upset, it wasn't because the candidate in either of those election years, uh, because I got the outcome in which I voted or didn't get the outcome in which I voted. That had nothing to do with it. The reason I wasn't upset was because I was on a different path. And my path is is regardless of what happens on the outside, I want to be okay on the inside. I'm working to have inner peace inside. That is all an inside job. When something happens at work that my mind says is a problem, the first thing I do is like, if your mind says there's a problem, the first thing I'm going to say to the mind is no comment. And the thing that I'm going to do second is I'm going to accept this is an opportunity to work on myself, to not allow, to not make my experience of the moment, of the news, of the event have an impact on how I show up or what I'm experiencing inside. What happens in here, I want to be unconditional. I don't want it at the effect of things that are outside my control. And everything that happens outside of me is outside of my control. How cool would it be to have that? That whether you're up or down is unaffected by the weather. You're up because you have set out on a path to make your being up unconditional. The way that people treat you, yeah, it'd be great if they treated you well, celebrated you when you walked in the room, showed you nothing but love. But don't make that a condition in which you are loving. And that's what I set out to do, regardless of how people treat me. And I've had a lot of practice at this, saying good morning to everybody that I cross paths with, um, doing other things with people, in which I get credit for, being blamed for things that I didn't do, whatever the case may be. However people interact with me is I want my response or how I show up to be independent of that. I don't want it to be conditional. And so I've worked on these things. And as a result, what I found is this path isn't for everybody. And when the path wasn't for me, what happened was I suffered a lot. I have a few friends who worry and fret a lot about things that are outside of their control. They can be obsessive about their thinking. They can be very anxious. Uh, they can be judgmental. They can be cynical. And that's cool. That's not my path. The path that I'm on, the path that many of my friends are on, the path that isn't for everyone. And I am so grateful that I've chose a different path and that I have remained committed to it. And I will continue to be committed to it. And every day or every time that I feel the pull, my mind and my heart feel the pull to step off the path, I hope and I pray that I can regain consciousness just enough to guide myself back on the path. And so far, so good. But just because I did it before doesn't mean I'll make the same choice in the present moment. But what will help me do that is keep doing my practice, keep using every single moment to let go of my lower self so that I can show up as my best. And thankfully, life gives you a lot of chances to get a lot of reps on doing that. When people ask me, they say they see me work out, or they're like, "Man, Keith, you're so good at this." I'm like, "I'm doing it for a long time. I got a lot of reps." I mean, it's at this point, I've been doing it for so long, I can't do it wrong. How cool is that, right? That's what I hear about people that, a tennis swing, or backhand, or forehand. They hit it. They've hit this shot so many times, it's almost impossible for them to hit it wrong. How about that? Me, I've gotten to the point to where I can say good morning to people and then not say it back, to where it doesn't affect me anymore. I can't get it wrong. How cool is that? Like, and I'm using little things like that. People pulling over in front of me, uh, in traffic. And I remember having a knee-jerk reaction in the past, but I made that part of my focus, that if and when that happens, I want to relax even more. And so far, so good. I've noticed a huge improvement in that area. The tendency to want to have the last word, I've noticed that be replaced with thank you to the other person when they give me feedback. Man, that was a big one to work on, but it's automatic for me now because I wanted that to I wanted that to be um, a an affirmation of how much I have let go of being right by just saying thank you, that I'm open, that I'm letting go of my lower self. And over, I take all these things that happen and use them to develop a new habit, a new neural pathway, so that I can stay on the path. And I hope you will do the same thing. When you want to complain, create a new habit of replacing the complaint with being aware of things to be grateful for in that same moment. How cool would that be, right? Then before you know, you hardly ever complain anymore. All you do is you just become aware of a lower gratitude threshold. It takes less and less for you to be grateful, for you to feel peace, less and less. So ask yourself, is this the path for you?